Warm Calvary greetings to all our listeners and followers on this channel. I'm again delighted to bring to your listening player another edition of the End Time Prophetic News, coming to you live and direct from the stable of the Ordained Radio TV Gospel Ministry, situated here at the Capstone Prophetic Miracle Life Ministry of Joy, Ibadan. My name is Alfred Jimo, your regular newscaster. Please grab a seat, make yourself comfortable. Let me serve you the foretaste as we take the highlights of today's news. Ongoing Middle East war, prophetic expectations and confusions, a call for spiritual soberliness. Islamists gaslighting American history to replace it with Muslim agenda. The Texas curricular debate. Planetary parade, blood moon, the 2026 Purin festival, another signs in the sky. Now the news in full. The ongoing conflict in the Middle East, which centered majorly around US, Israel, the Gaza Strip, and Iran, has moved beyond geopolitical crisis into deeply religious postulations, and as Jews, Muslims, and Christians increasingly interpret events through the lens of their sacred texts. Wars in the Middle East has always steered more than geopolitical analysis. It awakens prophetic expectations and some real and imaginary hopes. As the ongoing Middle East conflict intensifies, major faith communities, the Christian, Jews, and the Muslim clerics have come up with different narratives. In this news item, Anti-Prophetic News brings to you the different narratives. For the Christians, particularly end time and prophecy watchers, they are perceiving the ongoing conflict as a prelude to the end time tribulations that shall follow the second coming of Jesus Christ and the rapture of the bride elect, which will culminate in the war of Armageddon prophecy in the book of Revelation. On the side of the Jews, according to Rabbi Mendel Kessin, a prominent Torah scholar, the Jewish scholars are expecting the Messiah, whom the Jews will worship in the third temple, which they are planning to build on the Solomon temple. To the Islamic clerics, particularly from the side of the Shiite sect and Iranian eschatology and theology, they are anticipating the arrival of the Mahdi, a messianic figure who will appear during a time of global chaos to defeat Islam's enemies and establish justice across the world. End-time prophetic news sees both the Jewish and the Islamic expectations as confusion and illusionary. As Bible and end-time believers, we can only stand by the Christians' expectations with a view to preparing ourselves for the second coming of the Lord Jesus, so as to be counted worthy to go in the rapture before everything could metamorphose into great tribulation and Armageddon. Islamists gaslighting American history to replace it with Muslim agenda. Texas debate ignites culture and curriculum war. A heated cultural and political battle is brewing in the United States, particularly in the state of Texas, where proposals linked to Muslim advocacy groups have sparked controversy over education reforms and historical narratives. At the center of the debate are claims that curriculum adjustments, indeed by proponents to promote inclusivity and global awareness, could reframe aspects of American history to reflect Islamic contribution and perspectives. Proponents of this agenda have called on Texas Education Board to include in the curriculum that 1/3 of the slaves in America were Muslims enslaved and killed for their Muslim faith. He raised the Mayflower Compact, eliminate the Columbia Day, and honor Islamic architecture amongst many more fundamental changes for the Islams. Shaiman Zayan, a paid employee of the Islamic organization pushing for the reform on the Texas Education Board, tried desperately to push the Islamist agenda and ideology to replace the traditional lessons and Texas history class. However, Zayan met an overwhelming opposition on the board in Braden Hall and Julie Pickren, a Christian pastor from North Texas and a strong member of the board. Together with Pickren, they torpedoed the Islamic agenda that had been repeated over and over to school officials across the United States of America. They concluded that rather than doing what the Islamists was proposing, the Texas board would rather teach about major religions and the real historical records of the founder of Islam, Muhammad, who married Aisha at the age of 6 and consummated the marriage when she was 9 years old. Finally, they submitted that they would teach Christopher Columbus, teach the 10 Commandments, teach Thanksgiving and George Washington's Thanksgiving and prayers, and other traditional and historical facts about America without yielding to the prayer from any external organizations. End-time prophetic news views this against the backdrop of 2 Timothy chapter 4 verse 3. Quote, "For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrines, but after their own lusts shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears." We see what happened in Texas as a major setback to the Islamist agenda in the US, as the light has overcome darkness once again. For John chapter 1 verse 5, "And the light shineth in darkness, and darkness comprehended it not." Time up. The end is near. Planetary Parade, Blood Moon, and the 2026 Purin Festival, another signs in the sky. A rare convergence of celestial and religious events has captured global attention as 6 planetary alignment, a blood moon, and the Jewish festival of Purim occurring in close proximity. Astronomers reported a visible planetary alignment involving Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus. Alongside this was a blood moon, a total lunar eclipse causing the moon to appear reddish, which added a dramatic symbolism in early March 2026. In the Jewish tradition, celestial signs have historically been viewed as indicators for nations. The Jewish Talmud is said to suggest that lunar eclipse may symbolize warning signs for Israel. Coming during Purim, a festival celebrating divine deliverance in the book of Esther, some see this as a reminder of hidden divine intervention in times of crisis like the ongoing conflicts in the Middle East involving America, Israel, and Iran, and having a ripple effect worldwide. Many Christians and end-time watchers have linked these phenomena to scriptures like Joel chapter 2 verse 31. "The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the great and the terrible day of the Lord will come." The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into Bible scholars. This alignment, coming at a time of global convulsion like this, strengthens beliefs that the world is entering a prophetic season. End-time prophetic news warns there is virtually no prophecy standing between the elect and rapture, yet unfulfilled, except for further fulfillment. This is where we shall be returning home today from our news hunt. But before we draw the curtain, don't forget to always follow, like, share, and comment on this program and all our programs on the Ordained Radio TV Gospel Ministry. By doing so, you are encouraging us and also participating in the work of the ministry, and the Lord will richly bless you for it. My name once again is Alfred Jimo. From all of us here in the studio, it is bye for now. Maranatha.